Hello there, and welcome back to the Zero Credentials F1 podcast. We're here with a new British world champion. We'll be discussing that and everything else that happened at a very tense Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Nelly, loads to talk about as per usual, so let's go. I was buzzing, actually. Like
he only went and did it. He only did it. Yeah.
When he started, when he was tearing up in his helmet. I'm not gonna lie, I got a little bit choked up. I didn't cry. I would sometimes I do, but I didn't this time. I was just really chuffed. I was really chuffed. It was a super tense race. What's your impression?
Yeah, it was. Yes, you were just thinking, oh, what could go wrong? What could go wrong? What could go wrong? And it turned out ultimately to be quite a dull race. If it was in the middle of the season, you'd be absolutely appalled at the lack of action in the race. But the tension, the permutations, what could have happened, what might have happened, and probably tinged with a little bit of disappointment because, in a way, I think Red Bull could have brought out the other three cars that they had and nearly did try to give Lando a tough time. But in the end, they did all they could do, which was put Max to the front and hope everything else fell apart behind him.
I thought, considering pressed the wrong button. Considering the stakes that were at play, and you haven't been able to say this all of the time in the past, is that Max Verstappen conducted himself like an absolute gent, as did Oscar Piastri. I thought the two of them took the result with good grace, with humility, which
absolutely
has not always been the case, has it? Actually, Max did comment the other day, didn't he, saying he needs to find some new haters because they all seem to like him now.
Yeah,
and I would count myself amongst
he was been difficult to resist all season, but that did stand out for me. I thought that Oscar was very sort of pragmatic about the situation. He did say something nice, which was, he was managed to reconcile that he'd had an excellent season and he's still extremely young in himself and young in the sport, and he needs to take a lot from that. And Max, again, it's a race that he shouldn't have been involved in terms of the title, in terms of the championship, given the middle of the season. So his little piece to the team on the radio and driving in saying, like, guys, don't be disappointed because I'm not, because we've done some incredible stuff and we came back from absolutely nowhere and got second in the championship. Absolutely incredible. But yeah, they were really classy, I think is the word that I took from it.
Yeah,
really right. Classy about it, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. And to be honest, we've got them to thank for a lot of the entertainment this year, particularly Piastri pushing Norris through the first half of the season, Max providing plenty of entertainment throughout the season, and then we've got Papaya Rules to thank for Max being there at the end. In what was otherwise a pretty boring season. There was a lot of boring races. A lot of promise and no execution, it felt like, overall. Yeah.
In terms of a reviewed season, it was... McLaren really should have taken him by the scruff of the neck and run off into the distance, and that would have made everyone else focus on further down the field. But yeah, it wasn't an absolute classic, was it? Not by any means. There was too much car quality, car reliability, and thank God they're gone now. But the previous rules and philosophy behind this generation of car, which is now behind us, and I'm delighted that it's behind us.
I think we'll be doing some sort of season review in the next week or so we can save a lot of that sort of chat for then. But I don't think it's been the best season ever. But in the end, we've got a new British driver and a new champion.
Yeah.
For what is 4 or 5 years now. And then it was Lewis a long time before that. So He's actually only the third champion in quite a lot of years, which is cool. And I thought he spoke pretty well considering the level of emotion and relief he seemed to be feeling, and then just seemed to be surrounded by awkwardness. His family were like, they're nuts. Absolutely nuts. Jensen Button going on about being a father in the middle of the... Like, what are you on about, JB? Oh, my God. Just so much awkwardness.
The entire post-race situation was cringeworthy, to say the least. I'm still feeling it now. I'm shivering. I'm shuddering. I mean, like there was a couple of nice bits. They stopped the car fine. Yeah, he did his bit. It was really nice to see George come out and give him a hug, and especially Carlos Sainz as well, coming to see his buddy. I thought that was really lovely. But then the horror began.
It started before that with Zach Brown.
Zach
saying, "Is this the world champion hotline?
Hotline bring." Fucking no way. He had a chance to be iconic, say something that would go down in the ages. Yeah. No. He resorted to the dad joke, the immediate dad joke that just came to his head, and then he took his time, and they were waiting in there a while. But the cool down room as well. They were perfectly polite to one another, but it was almost like a deathly silence.
It was when Thingy walked in, though, wasn't it? What's his first?
The chief of the FIA used to be Ferrari.
F1 boss. He's the F1 boss, not the FIA.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
What's he called? Stefano Domenicali.
Domenicali high-fiving them all and giving them the same hug.
It was absolutely awful and saying, it was just awful.
But he repeated the self-same hug where he shook their hands, gave them a hug, tapped the back, and then moved his hand up like to the crook of their neck. Like a fatherly sort of tap on the back. And I was like, oh, you creepy bastard. Get away from me. And then they stood there in silence, and then he just went to Max and said, "You did some incredible things this year," then walks off.
Anna. I had to turn it off. It was so bad. I had to turn it. I actually turned it off and put football on. It was that bad.
God, it was cringe. It was very cringe.
I think a lot has been made as well about Lando Norris winning in his way. That kind of about being emotional and wearing your heart on your sleeve. I actually think that's bullshit.
Yeah,
I actually think it's genuine bullshit. What he did was in the first half, he drove well in the first half of the season, then had a bit of a wobble.
Yeah,
and we were all questioning. The mainstream media we were on here questioning whether he had the mindset. No one doubted his pace. We've both always supported him. I definitely, though, was doubting his mindset. And he admitted it in quite a good interview, actually, with Rachel on Sky One on Sky Sports after the race. Where he basically admitted he'd put a lot of new things in place.
Mm.
And he's basically, what I think, he's taken that inner sissy into the backyard and shot him in the head. As I think we all should, because
that's beautiful imagery, that, and it is a good life lesson. You're exactly right. Carry on.
And he just, for want of a better phrase, manned up.
Yeah,
got rid of all the noise, the external noise.
You're going to get cancelled now from
whether it's social media, whatever. But he proper sorted it out, and I think. The other thing is just weakness is not a virtue, is it?
No.
No. I mean, he removed the weakness, all of that mental weakness that he'd been struggling with. He's obviously done a lot of work, and he removed it. And he was a different person, maybe a different driver rather than a different person, because he still talks the same afterwards. But he was so different in the car, and I think that was highlighted very much so with that second stint in the race after he'd come into the pit.
That was ballsy.
And Leclerc, the Ferraris were a lot faster than everybody's expecting, including Ferrari, I think. But Leclerc was pressuring Lando. He had him under control, but then Leclerc pitted, which meant, and George had already pitted. Yeah, so Lando had to really, which then put him into some trouble and behind Yuki Tsunoda. He did one overtake, didn't he? Then he did a double overtake.
Yeah.
one of which was on the sister team.
Who should have made that car extremely wide. Yeah.
But then he had to go back though, didn't he? He tried to get back again, didn't he? The New Zealand lad, what's he called?
It's Liam Lawson.
Yeah, it was Liam Lawson, but he didn't make it easy. He tried to come back again, and then he's ended up behind Yuki, gone for the overtake. Yuki is doing some sort of snake down the down the fucking straight.
What penalty, bro? What penalty, bro? I love it.
And pretty much drove Lando off the track.
Yeah.
And but Lando just kept his foot in there like an absolute champion.
That was brilliant.
And completed the overtake.
That was the frustration. That's what I wanted to see more of all season. He's been in those positions
absolutely.
Where he's been caught behind vehicles and he's done it. I totally agree with you that I couldn't give a fuck if the nice guy wins. It's not a narrative that I buy into in any way, shape, or form.
It's also not true. It isn't true. It's just fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
He sorted some shit out. He got rid of the mental weakness that is. We've all done it. We've all suffered it, and we all have to overcome it to achieve stuff, don't we? Yeah. And he did that, and that's all so much to his credit, as much as actually driving well in all these races.
I mean, he won the title by 2 points, and that's what won him the title. That
absolutely
mindset. When he showed that, and when he demonstrated that, that's what won him. When he was laissez-faire approach or playing the team game or papaya rules, that's when he went backwards. And I hope that it's a mindset that correlates with him being not a champion until this point. And I'm really excited to see that the Lando, maybe a bit of arrogance, a bit of, you know what I mean, a bit of kick to him.
There always is, though, isn't there? They all have a little shift once they're the world champion.
Yeah.
You think,
and I'm looking forward to that, Lando.
Jenson Button ended up in McLaren alongside Lewis Hamilton as almost as an equal at that point, wasn't he? Well, they were. They both had one world championship each. But
well, he's not chasing a seat anymore. The mindset has to shift because he's 26-year-old.
People are chasing him now. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, he can race in Formula One till he's 40 if he wants, entirely on his terms. Yes, he could slip down the field and become a development driver and for a smaller team. But he can, if he wants, he will not be searching for a seat in the future. Simple as that.
I think what it also does is once you're a champion like that, is that you know deep down you've got what it takes because you've already done it. And at that point, you can then start to work on all the other little weaknesses. Max Verstappen did that. Lewis Hamilton did that. And I think Norris is just going to get better and better.
Yeah.
Because his racecraft has not always been quite on point, has it?
No.
He can work on that now, though, because we know his pace has never been in question.
Yeah, the doubts removed. The doubts removed, and he can focus on refining and...
Because he doesn't need to prove anything anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. So I hope that he comes with a bit of a swagger next year, and I hope he really enjoys the next year as being champion. God knows who's going. I mean, it's for another show, but God knows who's going to be up front next year, because I honestly haven't got a clue with the new regs, and we'll come to that. But I think it was a very non-papaya-esque rules race, because actually I think there was a bit of, I don't know, I suspect there was a bit of gerrymandering going on, because it occurred to me, you know, it wasn't a race without incident. There were some interesting things happening, and I was on the edge of my seat throughout. But Oscar gets the one of the early corners and overtakes Lando and gets second placed. And I was thinking about that thing, and Lando didn't resist too much. In fact, you could argue that he made it quite easy for him.
I think that was a plan, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think Oscar was on the charge on the hards, because it occurred to me, Oscar behind Lando is of very little use to him, because if he gets caught by Leclerc or starts drifting down the field, that's not much help to Lando.
No.
If he's in front of Lando and Lando can fend off people behind him, then if there's a position towards the end of the race, which could have been the circumstance, where Oscar's in front of Lando, then he can drop back and give Lando what he needs to win the title. And the only bit in the race that I was thoroughly nervous was, as you said, that section when he came out after his first stint, and he got caught in traffic, and I thought, oh God, here we go again, because he could have lost a dozen or more seconds. And we knew where Charles Leclerc was at that point. He was going great guns, but that's when he showed that he was fighting for it. But I think it was a conscious decision by the team to get Oscar ahead. If he can go down and chase down Max, fine. You get first, and we'll see what happens. They were just maximising their odds. If Lando had a DNF or a catastrophic failure, then Oscar would have a chance. And in the absence that it wasn't happening for Oscar, and Lando slipped to 4th or 5th, which would have been big trouble for him, Oscar could have slipped behind him and made enough to get Lando.
They wouldn't even need to do anything. They just pit him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They just pit him, and he comes out behind Lando.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, though. It benefited them both to have Oscar in front.
Give
of
them both
Lando.
the chance, actually, so it felt fair.
Yeah, and because I don't think anyone was expecting. I think they were expecting George Russell to be the threat, not the Ferrari. And I kind of thought that they were hoping that Max and the McLarens would shoot off and pick up a big lead that they could then pit into.
Yeah.
But they didn't, did they? Because Ferrari were fast.
Oh, they absolutely did not expect Ferrari to be in and around it. No way.
And Lewis was fast as well.
Yeah.
Lewis was fast as well, wasn't he? I think he was, I don't know what the result was, but he was potentially my driver of the day with the number of overtakes he did.
Yeah, I hope he had a bit of fun as well, because that seemed to be one of the few times that he's had a chance to really let the Ferrari stretch its legs and do a bit of overtaking. Yeah. So delighted to see that. It was a bit of a rescue mission after yet another poor quali. He'd be delighted to see the back of that car. But they look really pacey, but the tyres fell off.
It's the same that's happened with Ferrari quite a few times, though, is that they had an initial good pace and it dropped off in the final stint. They've had that a few times now. Did you know that in this season, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri have won 7 races each, and Max has won 8? Did you know that?
I noted that because when at the end of the drivers' standings, when Lando won it by 2 points, I was thinking back to when he got past Kimi in the last race, and he didn't look like he was going to, but Kimi made a mistake and he got past him. Yeah, and that would have put them on equal points, in which case, through wins, Max would have been champion.
Yeah,
and I mean, that's such a fine margin, because he was nowhere when it came down to hunting down Kimi. It was just a mistake that Kimi did in the final few laps of the race.
There's a lot of whys and wherefores you could say as well, because say if Max hadn't T-boned George Russell earlier in the season, that cost him more than 2 points. But then equally, Lando had a DNF through no fault of his own in Zandvoort and lost a load of points. Lando also T-boned Oscar in Canada and lost a load of points. So he's had. I just think the
mindset of stepping into that last race with 10 points and knowing that you have to win it then, because they didn't look pacey enough to sort of hunt Max down in any way, and their tactic was aided immeasurably by the fact that he just needed a podium, both for him and Oscar. And I think the mindset would have shifted dramatically had those 2 points just from the last race not been a factor. And you know, these things happen. You can study them forever, but I'm not sure the mindset would have been altogether quite so calm and quite so calculated given that situation.
No, and even given the situation, he showed, I think, extreme calmness and maturity under what is unimaginable pressure. I would assume.
You'd be certainly donning the brown trousers, wouldn't you, for the for the week before entirely? Yeah,
I think that's where the emotion, when he actually won it, that's where all that emotion came from, because of the amount of pressure that's built. And Papaya rules. Oh, that's the other thing that irritated me a bit.
And another
was
thing.
I think it might have been Andrea Stella or Zach Brown after the race was being interviewed. I think it was Andrea. And he said they've proved that this is the right way to go racing. And I was like, no, just to be clear, this is that papaya rules is not the right way to go racing. No. You should have had this wrapped up weeks ago.
Yeah.
You made too
papaya
many
rules
mistakes.
is your weakness. And I think we got it right.
You won despite that.
We don't get much right, but I think we got it right in a previous episode, which was what has characterised great teams is having the boldness to say, this is our number one driver and this is our number two driver. Sebastian Vettel, Lewis, everyone, they knew that largely Nico was a number two and Valtteri, Webber with Vettel, Michael Schumacher, all of the great wins have had a clear number one, number two, and the favoured one, and that's tough to see. If they don't want to have the tough, difficult conversation, then I'm sorry, they've got to pump themselves up for it, because that's what characterises the big major winning teams.
Yeah, and Mercedes experienced it in 2014.
Absolutely.
And they never repeated it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they learned that lesson and things changed. But going back to the race wins to win a championship, do you know who last won a championship by not winning the most races off the top of your head?
Oof. That might be something like a Nico or something like that.
It is. Nico Rosberg, in 2014. Yeah, he won, I think, one race less than Lewis.
But he was super consistent that season, obviously.
I don't want to get into that season. There was some shenanigans went on. That's on
for
that
another
season.
day. That's for another day.
And then before that,
I
don't know any further than this, so this is the last one.
Give me a century. Is it post 2000?
Yeah, it's in the 2000s.
I would say it's Kimi Räikkönen.
No, Lewis Hamilton in 2008. So his another first British world champion did that. So let's see if Lando can go on to win many more with great dominance.
I'm delighted for him. I've been skipping around it's a few days since the race. I've been just quietly content.
Me too. Yeah. Because there was a distinct lack of drama, really, in the end.
Yeah.
You kind of thought at one point when Yuki had pushed him off the track, you thought, oh no, the FIA are going to dominate proceedings here again in the last race of the season. Or you just worried the car was going to break down, or just there was all sorts of jeopardy, like you said, but not actually that much drama in the end.
No. And the pit stops went sound. I was really nervous at the time because you just think, oh God, they've locked a wheel not early in the year, or they've the back wheel's been stuck or something like that. Something's going to happen. But happily, and I'm sure Lando's the same, happily it's was quite routine in the way that it was done. Do you know what? In a way, it was a nice way to finish because Lando got what he wanted, obviously. Max got another win, which just underlines his dominance over the past 10 races, let's say. And Oscar showed a little bit of, well, it's not all going to be your way, sunshine. I can still control this car and get something out of it in good circumstances. So I think they all looked pretty good, and it was a satisfactory season ending in that regard.
Really difficult, though, isn't it? Thinking about next season, we literally have no idea what's going to happen.
I don't have a blue clue, mate.
There's some sort of talk that the Mercedes engine is probably the best of the bunch, but you just don't know, do you? Like, it's just. I think we'll talk about that in another episode in the next couple of weeks. But did you see today that they've announced that Helmut Marko is leaving?
Yeah, leaving. Another
bit of news.
Yeah, another villainous figure. I've never really got him. Like he's never bothered me or anything, but he just looks like a bit of a, the villain, the bad guy, who's coming like. I don't know why I've got that impression. I just do.
No, I do as well. I do.
But but I mean, to be fair, he's still a significant shareholder. He's going to get straight paid.
Is he? I'm not sure he is.
Was he a consultant or something?
I think he actually just works for Red Bull, as in Red Bull, rather than Red Bull Racing.
Does he make the pop?
I think that's that's who he works for, and then he's like their consultant on Red Bull Racing.
He's big.
So that's why he's always kind of been untouchable, because he doesn't work for Red Bull Racing.
All right.
He works for Red Bull themselves.
So what possible insights can he bring to?
I mean, he was mates with Dietrich Mateschitz as well, wasn't he? So that was his leverage, I think, and that's slowly been eroded since Mateschitz died. So yeah,
bring it down. Cheers, man.
There's some stuff. There's some stuff changing at Red Bull, obviously, isn't there? I don't know how that'll affect Max, but there's going to be a lot of changes. I think I would assume at the end of next season as well. Once the shakedown occurs and everybody knows which is the fastest car and stuff. So
is every seat accounted for? Then
I believe it is now. Yeah, I believe it is.
It's good news because we've got two new teams joining next year.
Well, I mean, Sauber are putting an Audi badge on their car, aren't they? And then
we get the Cadillac.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll do a season review, I suppose, in the next week or so, and then maybe leave it for a few weeks after that and do a preview of next season, because it comes around fast, and maybe we need to be better at like responding.
I really need to
news and stuff.
I really need to get to the boat on the south of France. It's been a tough season.
I know,
and I need to get my feet up and chill
before
for a while.
Before we forget, we've had our own championship this year. Our prediction championship.
This is true.
This was the predictions for this race. So you and Whites both basically went full Lando, and I went full Max, and that's actually been one of my better weeks. I've scored 4 points there, with 1 point for pole for Max, 2 points for Max's win, and then a 5th place for George Russell. So I got 4 points.
Nice work.
You both got 1 point each for Oscar Piastri. So the final score, we already knew Whites had won because he'd wrapped shit up last week. But the final scores are Whites on 29, myself on 24, and then you were a bit of a distant third.
All right.
in 16.
It's closer than I'd hoped, to be fair. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah.
So, Whites gets that GOAT trophy.
I think you two have absolutely, easily guaranteed nailed the point of race. I think we were a few races in before we start. I haven't got a point of race.
There's been some gaps. Over the last several races, I've had a significant performance compared to...
I'm averaging. Just thinking averaging. I haven't even got a point of race from whilst we've been recording. So, so the only way is up. The only way is up for me. Yeah. And with the philosophy of the cars changing completely next year, I'm the blind leading the blind at the minute. I have no idea. Mate,
McLaren and Lando Norris were riding round at the back of the field a few years ago.
This is true.
Anything can happen in F1,
happen.
Mate. Anything can happen.
And probably
apart from Lance Stroll driving at the front.
And at the time of recording, we are comfortable that the FIA are not going to scrutiny Lando's championship away from him by having dodgy tyre pressures or wing flaps or fuel levels or skid blocks or anything like that. It's a legitimate win, and congratulations, Lando Norris.
Yeah, very happy for Lando. We'll end on that positive note with a brand new British world champion, which we're very happy about, and we're not sorry because we're British and we're going to be biased, but we love all of you that watch, and we'll see you again in a week or so for a full season review.
You better believe it. See you.
Bye-bye.